Go, you go on, I'll fend them off.
Okay, so we're about to be delved back into middle... Ray!
What?
Dragon!
Where?
Right, now that you're back with us, Ray.
Tricked me.
Yeah, I did.
Hey guys, alright, so given that the Hobbit is about to be released, well, not long now.
Not long
only
now.
A couple more weeks.
Yep.
Thought we'd take a look at some of the goodies. Oh yeah, that they're available. So, firstly, let's take a look at this prop replica of Balin's flat-bladed mace, and we also have Uklat and Umraz, the two single-handed axes that Dwalin carries on his back. Now, both are made by Weta. Now, what's that, you ask? Well, the company gets its name from an insect called the Weta. Now, specifically, it's New Zealand's coolest little monster. It's a bizarre and prickly prehistoric cricket. Now, some of you still might not know who Weta is, but I can guarantee that you've seen at least one of their films. They are a special effects and prop making company based in Miramar in New Zealand, and their most notably, or the most notable film is, or series, The Lord of the Rings.
Absolutely.
Now, I'm pretty sure most of you have seen that. They did the props and the costumes and the weapons and the miniature models, and they may have even erected a new mountain for New Zealand.
Just because they can.
Just because
really.
they can.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, they certainly know their stuff. I
Yes.
mean, these weapons here look great.
They're amazing, yes, I agree with you. I was a little disappointed though at first. Yeah, a bit confused because when I think of a replica, I think of something that's really heavy, and because in the films you look at them and you think, man, they must be some really heavy weapons, and you want a replica, and I thought that maybe they're just cheaper versions made from cheaper materials. But these are quite different. They've managed still to capture the complexity of the detail. Now, these weapons replicate the exact techniques and artistry used in the films. What I like best are the axes more than the mace, which looks a bit more like a sword to me. I don't think it looks as real as the axes either. And up close, they don't do as much for me. I think some of the work in the handles seem a little slapdash, but that's just me.
But these were used in filming, and through the lens and even at a distance, I think they look pretty authentic.
Yes.
I love the detail that are on some of these. Like
Yes.
the little nicks in the blades of the axes looks really cool. I must admit, I do like the axes more than I like the mace, the flat
Yes.
mace as well. It's a very cool weapon, but
Yes.
there's something about axes. They're kind of cool.
Yeah.
Plus, they will take a decent kind of beating, so you can have your
Absolutely.
own little replica battles with your friends. They're buys from me. I like them.
Yeah, you bring up a great point. They're made from a high-impact urethane, and that means they can withstand a heck of a lot of punishment before they start to take any damage. And also, if you did happen to hit one of your friends, it's not going to cause a
hurt
heck of
that
a lot of
much.
pain either. And they come with these awesome mounts that you can put on your wall. Each of the weapons come with those. I think that's a nice feature as well to have on display. That said, I'm still going to give it a borrow. It just doesn't quite make it over the line for me.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've done our weapons. What
Yes.
about these guys?
Okay, we have the Bilbo and, of course, the Gandalf
Yes.
6th scale polystone statues. Gandalf was sculpted by Stephen Saunders and Bilbo by Bridget West. Now, it takes approximately 400 to 500 hours to design, sculpt, model make, mold, and paint the prototype for each new character. Now, Gandalf comes with a removable hat for alternate display, which is really nice. I'll start with Bilbo though. Firstly, I like the detail in the shorts and the vest and the smaller touches in the tie. There's a lovely combination of colours, and the sword sting looks great. Now, I'm not so much a fan of his expression though. Something about it doesn't ring true. He has his sword out in defense, but is he scared or infuriated? I kind of can't tell. It looks more like he's wondering how the sword got in his hand in the first place.
No, I don't like his expression that much either. I tend to agree with you. You're not quite sure what he's doing. With the bases, they're fairly sparse, but I kind of like the fact that they've got the engraving of the kind of first few pages
Yes.
of the books. You've got the Misty Mountain, you've got the dragon in the background. It's a bit reminiscent from when I opened those books, and you look at that map and you know where you're going when you read the story. I love the material look on his coat. I think they've done a really lovely job making it look cord. Hobbits are not really meant to be warriors.
No.
And I like that in his stance, that's kind of reflected, that kind of
Absolutely.
timidness of him.
Yes, yeah. He's not quite sure of himself.
Yeah, he's not quite
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
He's a bit scared. Ultimately though, sorry Bilbo, but you are a borrow from me.
Well, for me, it doesn't even make it quite there. I'm going to have
Aw.
to give it a berry. I wouldn't pick this one up at all. The Gandalf, on the other hand, is a bit of a different story. It's a much more interesting figure. Grave concern and wisdom and power emanate from his expression, and I really love the lines in his face and the detail in his beard. Even though this is another more static piece like the Bilbo, there's still a small amount of movement that sweeps around in his cloak, and that's really nice. And I also like the leaning on his staff. It gives this illusion of vulnerability, but at the same time this hint of dexterity, which seems quite dangerous as well. It puts you a little bit on edge. So this particular figure I'm going to give a buy. I really like the Gandalf.
Me too. Smaller details like the staff and the hint of a sword behind him are nice touches. The flow and colour of his cloak as well is really lovely. Even how they've made the bottom part of the cloak a little darker in areas to depict the wear and tear over time and of course masses of travel. I do prefer him with his hat on rather than off, but yeah, Gandalf is definitely a buy from me.
Great.
Cool.
Can I go back to playing now?
Yes. I might even join you.
Yes. Let's go find Al.
Okay.
All right.
Al!